What's up, Broncos Country? Get your hearts ready, because what's coming might be the Christmas present the entire Denver Broncos family has been waiting for. Just picture the scene. Christmas Day. Lights on, that special atmosphere, and our Broncos taking the field against who? That's right, against the Chiefs. And there's more, way more to this matchup than you might think. Stick with me, and I'll tell you everything that's at stake in this showdown that could completely change the course of our season. But before I drop all the details, let me ask you something. Do you really believe our team has what it takes to take down the current champions? Because after what I'm about to show you here, you might change your mind about a lot of things. Look, I know a lot of people look at this game and immediately think, Chiefs favored, Broncos underdogs, another easy win for Kansas City. But hold on there, my friend, because the numbers don't lie, and the situation is way more complicated than it seems. Let's start with the basics. Our Broncos are sitting at 9 wins and 5 losses this season. Not bad, right? But the thing is, we're fighting tooth and nail for the last wild card spot in the AFC. It's that do-or-die situation, you know? Every game from here on out isn't just another game. It's practically a championship. And playing the Chiefs on Christmas Day at their place, with all this on the line? Man, it's intense as hell. But wait, there's a crucial detail in all this that completely changes the picture. The Chiefs have already locked up the first seed in the AFC. It's done. It's secured. They're going to have home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. So tell me something. What exactly is their motivation to put everything on the field on Christmas Day? Think about it with me here. If you've already secured the best possible position, if you already know you'll have all the advantages in the playoffs, are you really going to risk your key players in a regular season game? That's where things get interesting, Denver Broncos family. Analysts are looking at this game and seeing something that could change everything. The expectation is that Andy Reid, the Chiefs coach, is going to rest several important starters. Makes total sense when you think about it. Why risk unnecessary injuries when you already have everything locked up? It's that smart move by an experienced coach who thinks long-term, but for our side, this is a huge opportunity. It's like getting a Christmas present before the game even starts. Now let's talk about what really matters, the odds, the betting lines, what the market is seeing in this matchup. The Chiefs opened as 7.5-point favorites. Does that seem like a lot? Does that seem like a little? Depends on how you look at it. Historically, when these two teams face off, the average point differential is around 10 points. So, technically, it makes sense for the Chiefs to be favored. But here's the kicker. That historical average takes into account games where the Chiefs were at full strength, with all the starters, with everything working perfectly. The expected total points for the game is set at 41.5. Interesting, right? It's not a super high number, it's not a super low number. It's that middle ground that suggests a competitive game, physical, where defense is going to play a fundamental role. And look, if there's one thing our Broncos have shown this season, it's a defense that fights, that doesn't give up, that makes the opponent's life hell. Against a Chiefs team, potentially without some starters, we can make a lot of noise. But let's be real here for a minute. It's not just because the Chiefs might rest players that victory is guaranteed for us. Far from it. That Kansas City team, even with backups, still has way too much quality. They have a well-constructed scheme. They have players who know exactly what to do on the field. They have an organization that's a reference throughout the entire league. Underestimating them would be the biggest mistake we could make. But recognizing the opportunity that's in front of us, that's fundamental. Think about our quarterback situation. He's going to take the field knowing he can't make mistakes. Every pass matters, every decision is crucial, every play could be the difference between making the playoffs or being left out. This kind of pressure can break a player, or it can make him reach a level he didn't even know he had. And I really believe in our offense. We've shown improvement week after week. Sure, there are ups and downs. What team doesn't have them? But when we click, when everything works just right, our offense is dangerous as hell. The offensive line is going to have a huge role in this game. If we can protect the quarterback well, give him time to find the receivers, create spaces for our running game to work, then we have real chances of controlling the pace of the game. And controlling the pace against the Chiefs is essential. You can't get into a shootout with them because historically they're specialists in high-scoring games. We need to be smart, be patient, execute the game plan perfectly. Now let me talk about our defense, which to me is the heart of this team. Our defensive line has done an amazing job this season. The pressure on opposing quarterbacks has been constant. The run defense has held up well, and the secondary, despite some difficult moments, has made important plays in crucial moments. If the Chiefs really rest their starting quarterback, our defense can do enormous damage. Imagine the pressure we can put on a backup quarterback who might not have much playing time this season. It could be the deciding factor. If you're Broncos Country for real, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single play. Because what's coming ahead until the end of the regular season is going to be exciting as hell, and you're not going to want to miss out on any analysis, any debate, any celebration from the Denver Broncos family. Speaking of defense, there's a tactical aspect I think is super important to mention. The Chiefs, even with backups, are going to try to exploit the middle of the field, those short and intermediate passes that are their trademark. Our defense needs to be ready for that. Can't give easy space, can't let them find rhythm. Every yard matters. Every first down we prevent is crucial. It's that type of game where tactical discipline is going to make all the difference. Let's also talk about the home field factor. Playing in Kansas City is never easy. Their fans are loud, the environment is hostile, and the Chiefs know how to use that to their advantage. But check this out. Our team has shown toughness on the road. We don't get intimidated easily. We don't give up when the environment gets heavy. And with everything that's on the line, I expect to see our players taking the field with that warrior mentality of someone who has nothing to lose and everything to gain. There's another factor that can't be ignored: the schedule. Playing on Christmas Day on a Thursday changes the entire week's preparation. It's less practice time, less recovery time from the previous game, less time to adjust the game plan. This affects both teams, of course, but it can affect them in different ways. The team that can adapt better to this tight schedule is going to have an advantage, and our coaching staff has shown competence in preparing the team for adverse situations. About the betting and predictions, analysts are divided on this one. Some are going heavy on the Chiefs, even with the 7.5-point spread, because they trust in their roster depth and ability to win, even without some starters. Others are seeing value in betting on the Broncos precisely because of this whole situation I explained. It's that perfect trap game scenario where the favorite can stumble badly if they're not careful. But let me ask you something. Denver Broncos family, do you think the Chiefs are really going to rest important players? Because there's a theory circulating that maybe Reed puts the starters in to start the game, they play a quarter, a half, just to keep rhythm, and then he takes them out. If that's it, it changes the scenario quite a bit. We'd have to weather the initial impact and then take advantage when the backups come in. It's a possible strategy, and our coaching staff needs to be prepared for all possibilities. Our running game is going to be tested to the extreme in this game. If we can establish the run early, that opens up everything, controls the clock, tires out their defense, takes pressure off the quarterback, and puts us in a position to dictate the pace. The Chiefs, even with backups on defense, are still going to be organized, still going to execute schemes well. But if our running back can find spaces, if the offensive line opens holes consistently, we can dominate time of possession and keep their defense on the field the whole time. Speaking of time of possession, that's one of the most important stats we need to win. We can't get into a fast-paced game with multiple possessions for each side. The more we hold the ball, the fewer opportunities they have to score, and the less our defense is exposed. It's simple math, but executing that on the field is the challenge. Need converted third downs, need long, sustained drives, need patience and discipline. There's also a psychological aspect that can't be underestimated. The Chiefs have already achieved the main goal of the regular season. They're thinking about playoffs, about Super Bowl, about legacy. Will they mentally be 100% focused on this game against us? Or will there be that natural relaxation from someone who's already secured everything? On the other hand, our Broncos are desperate for a win. Every player knows the season could end if we stumble. This kind of urgency can work wonders on the field, or it can lead to mistakes from trying to force plays too much. Another crucial point, turnovers. The team that commits fewer mistakes is going to have a huge advantage. If we can force fumbles, interceptions, any type of turnover, that completely changes the game's dynamics. Our defense has the ability to create turnovers, has shown that several times this season. But our offense also needs to take care of the ball, like it's gold. No silly fumbles, no forced interceptions. Each possession is too precious to waste. Special teams could be the third unit that decides this game. A good punt or kickoff return can completely change field position and give a huge advantage. Our special teams unit needs to be sharp. No silly penalties, no basic mistakes. And if an opportunity for a long field goal comes up at the end of the game, our kicker needs to be confident and ready to decide it. Let's talk a bit about individual matchups that could define the game. Our best pass rushers against the Chiefs' offensive line, which might have backups in some positions. If we can get constant pressure that forces mistakes, hurries, sacks. Our receivers against their defensive backs. Do we have players with speed and technique to win one-on-one? Absolutely. But need to execute routes perfectly, and the quarterback needs to hit the timing. There is also the weather question on game day. Christmas in Kansas City can be cold, can be windy, can have conditions that affect the passing game. If the weather is bad, it favors the team that can run the ball better. And look, we've shown we can be physical, that we can impose our game when necessary. If conditions call for a war in the trenches, our guys aren't going to back down. Speak up, Broncos Country. Are you feeling the same energy I am? This game could be the turning point of our season. A win against the Chiefs, even if they rest players, is huge for team morale, for confidence, to show that we belong in the playoffs. Imagine us riding high with this win and carrying that momentum into the final games of the regular season. It would be perfect. But let's keep our feet on the ground, too. The Chiefs didn't get where they are by accident. Even without some starters, they have well-designed schemes, they have well-trained players, they have a first-class organization. Reed is one of the best coaches in league history. He's not just going to hand us the game. There's going to be some kind of plan, some surprise tucked away. Our response needs to be ready for anything. The pressure is clearly more on our side. We need this win more than they do. But pressure can be a privilege, as some say. It means you're fighting for something important, that your season still has meaning. How many teams out there have had their seasons practically over for weeks? Not us. We're still alive, still in the fight, still have a chance to do something special. Thinking about the game itself, I imagine a studied start from both sides. Nobody's going to want to give an inch right away on the first drives. It's going to be that chess game, testing, seeing what works, adjusting. The team that makes the best halftime adjustments could pull ahead. And historically, our coaching staff has been good at mid-game adjustments. When something isn't working, they can identify it and change. Discipline is going to be tested to the max. No stupid penalties that kill drives or give free first downs to the opponent. No losing your head and drawing unsportsmanlike conduct flags. Have to maintain composure the whole time, regardless of what happens on the field. If the ref makes a questionable call, swallow it. Move on with the game, focus on the next snap. Can't let emotions interfere with execution. About the expected total of 41.5 points, I think it's going to be a more grinding game than that. Heavy defenses on both sides, possession well contested, not as many offensive possessions overall. But of course, one or two big plays can change everything. A pick six, a fumble recovery in the end zone, those plays can blow up the score. It's football. Anything can happen at any moment. Our linebackers are going to have a heavy workday. They need to cover tight ends in the passing game, need to stop the run, need to pressure the quarterback when necessary. That's a lot of responsibility at that position. But we have players there who accept the challenge, who want the ball coming their direction, who thrive under pressure. I trust that group a lot to make plays when they appear. And the cornerbacks? Man, they're going to be tested constantly. The Chiefs, no matter who's on the field, are going to test the secondary. They're going to throw deep balls. They're going to try to create mismatches. They're going to use motion to confuse. Our corners can't give an inch. Tight coverage, active hands, turn your head for the ball at the right moment. A pass breakup here, an interception there, and suddenly we're on offense with favorable field position. Thinking further ahead, a win in this game not only helps in the playoff race, but also gives tremendous confidence to the team. Beating the Chiefs at their place on Christmas Day becomes like a landmark in the season. It's the type of game that players will remember forever, that will create an identity for this group. We beat the Chiefs when nobody thought we could, becomes a mantra, becomes fuel for the challenges still to come. But what if we lose? Well, then the situation gets pretty complicated. It doesn't make playoff qualification impossible, but it makes everything much tighter. We'd depend on other results, would need to win all remaining games, would be on a tightrope until the last week. That's why this game is so crucial. It's not elimination yet, but it's practically that. The playoff card format in the AFC is super tight. Several teams fighting for the last spots, small difference in wins between them. Still a lot to happen in the final weeks. Every win is worth gold, every loss could be fatal. And playing against an opponent that's already qualified and might rest starters is exactly the type of opportunity that needs to be seized. If we don't take advantage, we'll look back at the end of the season and regret it. There is something magical about playing on Christmas Day, too. It's one of the few days of the year where you have complete national attention. Everyone who likes football is going to be watching. It's the perfect stage to make a statement, to show the entire country that the Broncos are back, that we're a team to be taken seriously. Imagine the narrative if we win. Rebuilding team takes down the champions on Christmas Day. It would be epic. Our tight end could have a huge role in this game. He's a reliable safety valve for the quarterback, a big target on short third downs, and can do a lot of damage after the catch. If the Chiefs focus on stopping our wide receivers, the tight end is going to be open. If they focus on him, it opens up space for the receivers. He's that type of player who creates dilemmas for opposing defenses. The defensive line rotation is going to be important to keep everyone fresh until the fourth quarter. Can't let the guys get tired toward the end, because that's when we're going to need pressure and stopping the run the most. So there has to be smart rotation. Give rest when you can, but also know when to keep the best on the field for critical moments. About red zone situations, both offensive and defensive, they could define the game. Red zone offense is about perfect execution and creativity. If we get close to the end zone several times but only manage field goals, it might not be enough. Need to convert those opportunities into touchdowns. And on defense, bend but don't break. Can give up yards in the middle of the field, but when they get close to the end zone, need to stiffen up and force field goals, or even better, turnovers. So, Denver Broncos family, are you already planning Christmas Day thinking about this game? Because I know a lot of Broncos Country folks are going to be glued to the TV, maybe even delaying lunch or dinner to watch our team. It's the type of game that becomes tradition that years from now we'll remember. Remember Christmas 2024 when we played the Chiefs? I hope the memories are good. I hope it's a win we celebrate for a long time. Speaking of celebration, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First comes the hard work, the preparation, the execution on the field. Then, if everything goes right, then comes the celebration. But I like that mindset of already visualizing success, of already imagining what that final moment will be like when the clock hits 0 and we have more points on the scoreboard. Positive visualization is important in sports. To close out this whole analysis before we get to the home stretch, I want to reinforce one point. This game is totally winnable. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, far from it. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, because nothing is guaranteed in football. But all the pieces are in place for us to do something special. We have the team, we have the scheme, we have the motivation, and we have a golden opportunity with the Chiefs potentially resting starters. Now it's on our players. They need to put into practice everything that was trained during the week. They need to execute every play like it's the last of their careers. They need to play with passion, but also with intelligence. And above all, they need to play as a team, one for all and all for one. When everyone is synchronized, when the entire offense, defense, and special teams are clicking together, this team is very hard to stop, and you fans also have a role. Even from afar, the energy you send makes a difference. It might seem silly, but it's not. When a player knows he has thousands, maybe millions of people rooting for him, that gives extra strength. So wear the jersey literally and figuratively and root like crazy on Christmas Day. The next few days until the game are going to be intense preparation. Film study to identify tendencies, physical practice to stay in shape, scheme sessions to make sure everyone knows exactly what to do. There won't be room for error. Every detail is going to be worked on. Every situation is going to be practiced. When kickoff comes, our guys are going to be ready. One thing I hope to see is energy from the first snap. We can't come out slow, feel out the game, then wake up in the second half. Have to start with everything, impose our rhythm from early on, show we came to win. If we can catch the Chiefs by surprise right at the start, maybe shake them up a bit, that changes the entire game dynamics. Substitutions are also going to be interesting to observe. At what moment will our coaching staff make adjustments? When will they switch defensive schemes if something isn't working? When will they be more aggressive on offense, and when will they be more conservative? These real-time decisions can make all the difference, and I really trust in the experience and game vision of our staff. About injuries, I hope everyone is healthy and available for the game. Can't lose important pieces precisely at this crucial moment of the season. The medical department has done an incredible job of keeping guys on the field and needs to continue like that. Of course, football is a contact sport and injuries happen, but let's hope everyone enters and leaves the game well. The fourth down strategy is also going to be interesting. Are we going to be aggressive and go for it on fourth down in some situations, or are we going to play more conservative, kick field goals, do the basics? Depends a lot on the flow of the game, the score at the moment, field position. But I'd like to see a bit of boldness when it makes sense. Not something reckless, but also not being overly conservative to the point of letting opportunities pass. And clock management at the end of the game? If we're losing by a little at the end, we're going to have to manage the clock perfectly, use timeouts at the right time, maybe even try an onside kick if necessary. If we're winning, it's the opposite. Hold the ball, consume the clock, don't give chances to the opponent. These end-of-game situations always bring drama, but they're also where great teams separate themselves from mediocre ones. Speaking of drama, I hope the officiating doesn't steal the show. Nothing worse than an important game being decided by questionable flags. The refs need to let the teams play, not be protagonists. Of course, they'll call fouls when necessary, but those dubious calls that completely change drives are too frustrating. Let's hope for fair and balanced officiating. So, Broncos Country, what's your feeling about this game? Confident? Nervous? Anxious? I'm a mix of all that. Confident because I know our team's potential. Nervous because I know how much is at stake. Anxious because I want to see this happening already. But above all, I'm excited. Excited about the possibility of doing something special on Christmas Day. What would you do in the coaching staff's place? Would you go aggressive from the start or try to feel out the game first? Would you bet more on the passing game or the running game? What adjustments would you make if we were losing at halftime? I love thinking about these tactical questions, imagining different scenarios and how to deal with each one. That's what makes football so fascinating, right? The chess aspect, the layers of strategy upon strategy. Looking at the big picture of the season, this game could really be the turning point. Either we ride high toward the playoffs, or we stumble and end up in a very complicated situation. There's no middle ground. That's why preparation has to be impeccable, execution has to be perfect, and the mentality has to be warrior-like. A win here would also send a message to the entire AFC. The Broncos are back and can't be ignored. Teams that might face us in the playoffs are going to think twice after seeing us beat the Chiefs, even if under special circumstances. Momentum is important in football, and getting to the playoffs riding high makes all the difference. But let's live one game at a time. First comes the Christmas challenge. Then we think about the rest. Total focus on the Chiefs, on executing the game plan, on doing our job. If every player does his part, if everyone is on the same page, then we have every chance of leaving Kansas City with a win. So that's it, Denver Broncos family. Get ready for one of the most important and exciting games of the season. Christmas Day, primetime, everything on the line. It's going to be intense, it's going to be exciting, and I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world. What about you? Have you scheduled your day already? Have you picked out your Broncos jersey? Have you prepared mentally for what's coming? Comment down below how you're feeling about this game. Are you confident in a win? Do you think the Chiefs are really going to rest starters? What score are you predicting? Who's going to be our game MVP? I want to see everyone participating, debating, bringing their opinions. That's what makes Broncos Country so special, all this passion for our team. Leave a like if you believe we can surprise the Chiefs on Christmas Day. Share this content with all your friends who are also part of the Denver Broncos family. And stay tuned to the channel because I'm going to bring more analysis, more debates, more everything about our team until game day, and after it too. Let's go all out, Broncos Country. This Christmas could be special, could be historic, could be the moment. That marks our season. Believe in the team, believe in the process, and let's root like crazy. Until the next video, family, and may it be to celebrate a great victory.